Yo, hold up. Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back. I am looking pale as all heck. Go ahead and move that light a little bit. How's that? That's a bit better. Kind of messing with things here. Still trying to figure this out. But yes, welcome back. If you are watching on YouTube, you get to see me and all my pale gloriness. If you are listening anywhere else, welcome to the SportsNest podcast. I am Thomas Hielkema. I'm host today, and I'm by myself. So obviously, I'm your host for today. Got quite a few things to talk about. A bit more than yesterday, I would say. But starting off, LeBron James passes Karl Malone on the all-time scoring list. Fantastic feat. I absolutely hate LeBron. As a Celtics fan, I'm required to. So yeah, absolutely hate the dude for that sole reason. He still needs 1,440 more points to tie Kareem, and the Lakers lost the game. So I'm doing fantastic outside of the fact that LeBron just keeps getting more accolades. Outside of that, we're doing great. But yeah, apparently the Heat and Tyler Hero weren't the most fraudulent thing in the bubble. That was clearly the Lakers and that championship right there. But in all seriousness, congrats to LeBron James. That's a fantastic accomplishment. I think he even did it in less games than Malone did. Or maybe it was the other way around. But still a fantastic accomplishment. But you still need 1,500 more points. Right around. Now some NFL news. Specifically with the Rams. Rams keep Stafford, first of all. 4 years, $160 million. However, we're still waiting on an Aaron Donald extension. That's the big problem right now is that Aaron Donald extension, because they also signed Allen Robinson a little earlier, and they still want to sign Odell Beckham Jr. So that I don't know the exact cap, but it has got to be tight. Like that has got to be a tight cap room right there. They also sent Robert Woods to the Titans for a 6th-rounder. I think solely to clear up the space that would be required to then go ahead and sign Odell Beckham Jr. And why am I so pale? Gosh. But yeah, no, this was an absolute robbery by the Titans. You only give up a 6th-round pick. I get he just tore his ACL. I get that. But Robert Woods has been productive everywhere he's been, and I think he should be at least as productive as Julio was for the Titans, at the very least. But a bit more NFL free agency before we get into the two big things today. Cordell Patterson gets 2 years with the Falcons, gets a 2-year deal with the Falcons there. Robert Tonyan and Fletcher Cox re-sign with their teams on 1-year deals. And the Browns quarterbacks, Jacoby Brissett, gets signed, and they let Case Keenum walk to the Bills, which really I'm still waiting on where Baker Mayfield gets traded to. But yeah, that's the Browns quarterback news. That's your daily intake of Browns quarterback news, Jacoby Brissett and Case Keenum. Now, MLB Free Agency. I will be the first to admit 1,000 times over, I don't know a lot of baseball. I'm not the biggest baseball dude. But that Carlos Correa deal, huge 3-year, $105.3 million contract with the Twins. I believe that puts the Twins clearly into second place in their division. I would believe. I think the White Sox still, I'm talking with my friend who knows baseball. I think we came to the conclusion White Sox are still first in that division. But the Twins are right there. The Twins are definitely right there. Hanging in there with them. I couldn't name you more than 2 Twins right now. But in talking with him, I think, yeah, and I just don't have a lot of confidence in the rest of the division. But moving on, well, congrats to Carlos Correa. I think I put him in the title, so no, I did. I used LeBron. But yeah, no, that's a huge deal. I think that was kind of something, like we got one more domino, I believe, left to fall in the MLB Free Agency, and that's Trevor Story. Which, please, Red Sox, do not pick him up, okay? But do not let Xander Bogaerts, do not let him be the reason you don't. Okay, he can play second base. Trevor Story's defense is so much better than Bogaerts at shortstop. Please sign this man. Let him play. Let him play shortstop. I don't care. We need the defensive help. We need anything we can get. Our division is loaded. Okay, please pick him up and don't let Xander Bogaerts be the reason why you don't. So Story's probably the last domino to fall in MLB free agency after Carlos Correa just got his deal. Jorge Soler, big difference. Same 3-year deal, just a good $70 million less. Still is $12 million a year, but right? No, yeah, $12 million a year. He's with the Marlins now, which I believe the Marlins, based off what I heard a bit last year, there's a lot of good pieces here. I don't know how close they are yet. Again, in talking to my friend, he says there's still a little bit of ways, especially in as tough as a division as they are in. Still a little bit of ways. Still a little ways away, but this definitely helps the Marlins. And then a couple pitcher pickups. The Cubs get Drew Smyly on a 1-year deal, and the Tigers pick up Michael Pineda on a 1-year deal as well. Tigers, I think, are looking pretty good. I think they're third in the American League Central, but they're looking like they can win a couple games, but I don't know how much they can do outside of that. Again, not the biggest baseball nerd. I'm not. Just what I've heard from talking to people, from watching some things. Now March Madness time. This is what I know. I know this so much better than I've known. Actually, well, the LeBron, the NBA, I know. NBA and NFL, I know better. But I know this so much better than MLB Free Agency. UNC. This is probably the worst way I could ever put this. But UNC almost lost the most dominant game in tournament history. They were up 25 against the defending national champions. They're up 25. Pretty much the same start as in their first game against Marquette. And then all of a sudden, Baylor started making it close. Cut it down. They were up 25 at some point in the first half. Baylor cut it down to 15 going into halftime. Then, in the second half, Brady Manick gets ejected, having his career high in points. Gets ejected while throwing an elbow against Jeremy Shohan. Baylor, in that second half, had a 51-point second half to force overtime. However, they just couldn't pull it out. I was unable to watch that game. Thank you very much, work. But, that's... UNC, congratulations on holding off. You have had 3 of the best halves, maybe in tournament history, and then you kind of almost lost it right after that. But you have another tough game. You got UCLA on Friday, which is so long away. That's 6 days. That's 6 days. Why are you doing this to me, NCAA? Why? We don't. Oh, wait. I think I misread it. Yeah, sorry. It's Thursday. Sorry, I misread it. I thought I saw 25. It's 24. It's Thursday. Still, why? It's 5 days. Wait. Yeah, 5 days. Come on. We need basketball. That gives me some time to make some other videos in there other than just these podcasts. But, UNC, that game's looking like a 50-50 right now. Like, UNC's playing hot. UCLA looked much better today than they did against Akron. So much better. But still, UNC has looked fantastic. Moving on, Kansas wins a tough game versus Creighton. I wasn't able to watch most of it. Thank you, work. But, Remy Martin off the bench, 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. That's what we expected from Remy Martin all year long. What we didn't expect was Abaji and Braun to have 15 and 13 points respectively, as well as 8 rebounds. The 8 rebounds part is nice, but they kind of took a back seat to Remy Martin on this one. They're like, yeah, you go for it, man. Like, whatever works. And it worked. It worked. Kansas gets through Creighton. I think it was like a 4-point win or whatever it was. But, let me see. Okay, it was a 7-point win. But Creighton played them hard. As I just watching the highlights of it, Creighton played hard. Kaluma, Hawkins, and Alexander played all 40 minutes for Creighton. Arthur Kaluma finished with 24 and 12. And Kansas, congratulations on winning this tough one. You get to go ahead and play Providence next round. So enjoy your reward on that one. But, fantastic game by Kansas. Being able to fight through that one. But you got on Thursday as well, you got a tough one against Providence. The next game. The upset run continues. Not the big one yet. We're getting there. Michigan. Hunter Dickinson spoke afterwards saying no one expected us, no one wanted us in the tournament. They were all disappointed in the fact that we made the tournament, and now look at us now. That was paraphrasing, of course. But Dickinson looked fantastic. Like in the game, when I was able to watch this, I don't think he missed when I was watching. That was primarily the second half. I don't remember him missing. I think, maybe he missed one. He may have missed one short. But he just didn't miss. And I keep forgetting his name, but the number 55 was fantastic. But what wasn't fantastic was Tennessee's 3-point shots. Gosh, dang. Looking like my high school numbers out there. 2 of 18 today. 11% from the field. In comparison, they shot 14 of 24 against Longwood, which is 58.3%. And that's the difference between winning and losing games. I guess you got to be consistent all tournament long, and Hunter Dickinson has been. He was fantastic in their game against Colorado State. He was fantastic today against Tennessee. But that one was a fun one. Fulkerson and Dickinson were going at it. Like there was a solid run there where neither team missed. Like they went back and forth, no misses, and it was a fun. It was, I think, 6 points for each team. There's a nice 3-possession run there. But Tennessee, I'm sorry, Kennedy Chandler, you played your heart out in this one. You absolutely fantastic. You finished with 19 points. Tennessee fought hard. They fought hard. Unfortunately, this stuff happens. They're nice. The ball just doesn't go in. It happens, and unfortunately, this is the price for that. Moving on, one upset run, one nice run ends after one game as Richmond loses by 28 to Providence, who is looking fantastic. I mean, Richmond just beat who a lot of people had on their Final Fours, maybe not, I think a majority of people probably didn't, but who a lot of people had at least in the Elite Eight, or not even the Elite Eight, because they have to play Kansas. Sweet 16, I'm doing great, guys. Richmond beat the Big Ten champion in Iowa, a fantastic team. Keegan Murray, one of the top players in all of college basketball, go out and beat them in a tough game, and then get their butts just handed to them. Again, the same problem with Tennessee. They made 1 3-pointer. Like, Providence is a fantastic team. And as mentioned with Kansas, you got a tough one. Providence is amazing. Ed Cooley has got this team on point. Like, this team, this might be one of the hardest outs. Like, if for the number 1 seeds, because I think, because Baylor's already out. But Gonzaga gets Arkansas, and that's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. But Providence seems so much tougher to me. And then Arizona's going to get, Illinois or Houston? That doesn't even deserve to be in the same conversation as a Providence game for Kansas. That one, if you can't tell, I'm excited for. That one will be on Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, so that's, as of right now, the later one on Wednesday. How are the 2 games supposed to be played then? Then, UCLA wins the defensive battle against St. Mary's It might have been the ugliest combined 15 minutes I had seen up until that point, because then there was another game that started that took the cake on that one. But Jaime Jaquez, I think he has a sprained ankle, or he has some ankle issue, and he's going to need all the time he can get. He doesn't play until Wednesday against UNC or Thursday against UNC. He's going to need as much time as he can get off. They need him bad. Like, he was UCLA in that first half. I think he had 15 points in the first half, which was right around half their points. So he is desperately needed if UCLA wants to continue this run, because they got a good shot now. Like, Baylor's gone. Okay, granted, I got to go beat the team that beat Baylor, but they're nowhere near as talented as that Baylor team was. Deeper, and don't get me wrong, they have some talent, but nowhere near as good as Baylor was talent as from a talent perspective. But you still need him. Jaquez will be pivotal in this game. Would be pivotal in this game against UNC. But Johnny Juzang, speaking of pivotal, he did look much better in the second half. He struggled the first half, and he struggled against Akron. But second half, he picked it up. He started having fun. Was able to get through the St. Mary's defense, get some shots up, start to feel confident, which is exactly what you need from him. He is supposed to be your leading scorer. He is supposed to be your best offensive threat, and he hasn't looked like that since his ankle injury. So hopefully, after this, he gets it under control. UNC isn't the best defensive team, so hopefully he can go ahead and take advantage of that. Now, a bit on St. Mary's. Logan Johnson was fantastic. He and Jaquez going shot for shot in the first half. Unfortunately, I think he only had 2-3 points in the second half. But the first half was fun to watch between him and Jaquez. So congrats on a great season. Randy Bennett on getting Coach of the Year in the WCC. But unfortunately ran into a tough UCLA team here. Okay, now the magical run of the St. Peter's Peacocks, as they go on and beat a team that I thought could have made the Final Four. I was apparently very wrong on that, just like I was for the last team St. Peter's beat. But holy cow. Their coach, I just forgot his name. Its last name starts with an S. And that's all I got at the moment. But gosh, this team is there. I don't know if there's a team playing harder. I mean, yeah, like there's some like Providence and Creighton played fantastic. Like there's some teams that play hard, but this St. Peter's team is small. Like, they are small, and they had to deal with a fantastic offensive big in KJ Williams, and they're getting it done. Their on-ball pressure is fantastic. Unfortunately for them, there's a good chance they're going to have to face Purdue. That is a very, very real possibility. Like, the likelihood that Texas wins is extremely low. Like, that is, it's low. I'm not liking their chances Texas to get out of that one. Granted, proved us wrong. They proved me wrong. I got it right against Virginia Tech, but they proved a lot of people wrong against Virginia Tech. They could do it again. I doubt it. Just this offense of Purdue is so good. If, however, Texas can slow this Purdue offense down, Purdue doesn't have the best track record against guards. I'm just saying, Marcus Carr, he's hot. He was hot against Virginia Tech. That might continue, and Texas could win this game. We'll get to it a little later on. But yeah, for St. Peter's, I'm cheering for you. I'm cheering for you. But it's looking like, because these last two teams, you could easily find flaws that St. Peter's could attack, and there's no way they can match the offense that Purdue brings if it gets to that. Now, if it's Texas, I'm liking St. Peter's. I'm liking their chances. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. As of right now, a fantastic and ugly game between the Aggies of New Mexico State and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Holy cow. Was this visually unpleasing? Like, this was just, it was bad. Like, that one almost made me go blind, I think. So gosh. JD Note was missing layups. He's probably hitting his sleep. Teddy Allen was missing wide open threes. Yeah, the score at halftime was 26-17. That is bad. That is bad. Unfortunately, New Mexico State picked it up with 31 in the second half, but Arkansas stayed right at 27. But they pulled it out. They had a horrible shooting night. They shot 18%. They shot 19% from three. New Mexico State shot 23%. Field goal percentage. New Mexico State shot 34%. Arkansas shot 27.5%. The difference, however, as New Mexico State also dominated in rebounds 41-34, was the turnovers. Arkansas was able to force New Mexico State to turn the ball over. If they'd kept better control of it, probably would have beaten Arkansas. But their run as the 12th seed ends here. And one more run that ended. Memphis, they played fantastic. Like, the point was made by one of the announcers, I don't remember who. If they had played like that their entire year, they would not have been in this position. They would have been in the top 4 seeds, no question. But unfortunately, couldn't keep the consistency year-round. You got to play Gonzaga round 2. You go home round 2. That's just how it works. And Monty Bates is looking better. He looks like he's fitting in a lot better right now than fitting in with his Memphis team a lot better now. But foul trouble in the end was the end of them. Couldn't keep Jalen Duren on the floor. And so many others that I just don't know the names of. I'm sorry. But so much better. This Memphis team, a lot of improvements. I'm hoping Monty Bates does better next year. He's like 17, 18, right? Like he is extremely young. But yeah, I think he'll come back nice for next year. But yeah, so that was the games for today. Well, Drew Timme in the second half. Holy cow! Chet Holmgren wasn't aggressive at all. So Drew Timme said, "Yeah, get on my back. Okay, you only weigh 100 pounds. I can carry you." And he carried him with a Johnny Davis-esque second half performance. And he carried him. Andrew Nembhard as well, making those clutch free throws. That was a fun game to watch. They were going back and forth for a bit of time. Gonzaga was down huge. It was like they were down big. And if you don't know, I picked Gonzaga to win the national championship. So I got a little scared. And thankfully they pulled it out in the end. But I was primarily only able. I was able to watch the first half, but I was occupied by a New Mexico State game and UCLA. But I watched most of the second half, and the second half, if the full game was like that, that would have been one of the best games of the tournament. But now moving on to tomorrow or today's game, like if you're listening, anywhere else, or even if you probably because I don't, yeah. No, if you're listening to what I'm saying now, today's games. The first one being Houston and Illinois. These teams suck. At least in regards to their seeding. These teams suck. Houston played well. They beat UAB. The UAB team was good, and they played well. Illinois, however, did not play Chattanooga well, and is giving me a lot of nervousness for having picked them. My logic for picking them was Kofi Cockburn, which I think my logic still stands. That seems like pretty fair logic to me. But I'm definitely not nervous. As a prediction, I'm still going to roll with Illinois. I'm still going to roll with Kofi Cockburn. You had your bad game and won. Now it's time for you to have a good game and win. Actually, you're probably going to have a good game and lose, because that's just how life works. But as long as Curbelo isn't forcing shots, Like, he's a fantastic player as a playmaker. If he can play make it, you put him off the bench, he playmakes for you, Illinois will win this game. If he forces it, if he forces up shots, if he thinks he's Wendell Moore, you're going to struggle. Okay, because if you think you're Wendell Moore, who Wendell Moore thinks he's Stephen Curry, you got some problems. But as long as Illinois can get out of their own way, and they can just, what's the word? We'll keep control of the ball. That'll work. But as long as they can do that, I think they'll be good against the Houston team. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. Houston plays a fantastic defense. Kelvin Sampson has done fantastic with this team. Losing they're like your two best players. Like Marcus Sasser was a huge loss for this team. Like if Marcus Sasser was here, they probably still would have been Final Four picks, but they're not. And now they got to play Illinois and lose to them, as Cliff Coburn's going to have an amazing game. The second game, Villanova versus Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State's screwed. You turn the ball over that many times against Loyola Chicago. How the heck do you think you think you're going to do well against Villanova after doing that against Loyola Chicago? Like, Ohio State didn't win that game. Just, they didn't lose it. Like, Loyola Chicago lost that game. Ohio State didn't really win it. I mean, they advanced, they survived, but they definitely didn't feel like they won that one. It felt like Villanova won theirs. Ohio State is going to struggle to, for this one, this might be the worst Ohio State has looked for 40 straight minutes. Like, sure, there's some matchup issues with E.J. Liddell, but I don't see it really being that much of a problem. It's like Colin Gillespie is going to be just fine against Malachi Branham. That doesn't concern me at all as someone who picked Villanova to go pretty far. I'm feeling very confident in this one. I think Villanova is going to be absolutely fantastic. I think they're going to destroy Ohio State. That's I don't think that's a bold prediction. At least not a bold prediction to have them win. But moving on to perhaps the most popular game. Tom Izzo. Again, still can't pronounce his name because apparently I got a list for something I don't know that I didn't even know I had. Just only happens when I try to say his name. Coach K, final game versus Tom Izzo, and it's going to be a good one. These are definitely two very inconsistent teams. I would like to think Duke's going to win, especially if Michigan State tries their lose the game shenanigans that they tried against Davidson yesterday. But if they do that, Duke better win. I don't like the consistency of this Michigan State team. I think this Duke team is just a little too talented. I think that win versus CSU Fullerton helped get them. All right, we're getting there. I expect Duke to win. I really do think they will. I also just not a big fan of Michigan State. They just, as of lately, just haven't been consistent. They almost literally threw away the game against Davidson. We're lucky enough to walk out with a 1-point win there. Now, moving on to the most boring game, especially of this round, if probably not the tournament. I thought that would stick with LSU and Iowa State. But instead, Iowa State, you're in charge of those two boring games in the tournament, and that's this Iowa State versus Wisconsin. Now, if you watched yesterday's video, I explained my fandoms, but no one watched that. So let me do it for you again, even though hopefully someone's listening, someone else was somewhere. But as of live streaming on YouTube, we got no one. So I might be explaining this to no one. But it's all right. You can go and find this later. Wisconsin is my number one team. Okay? Wisconsin's number one. Don't ask me why, they just are. Actually, if you want to know why, I will answer that. But Texas Tech is number two. Okay? Then after that, you got UNM, and then just any association with UNM. Like Mountain West, New Mexico State. Typically, those are the teams I cheer for. Or if I just pick you. But I am a Wisconsin fan. I will cheer for them throughout the year. They are my number one team. And we're going to kick Iowa State's behind. There's nothing Iowa State does except for defense that Wisconsin doesn't do. So that's pretty much just half the game. But I just don't see a logical way for Iowa State to win this one. Granted, I said that about St. Peter's, I think, against Murray State. But at least I said it about some underdog that won. I think those exact words. But Wisconsin can play slow. The difference, actually not anymore. I almost completely blanked on Tyrese Hunter. Holy cow. I just got a lot more scared. I think we still should be okay. Wisconsin, we were able to run Colgate off the three-point line. We definitely need to do that with Tyrese Hunter. Like, even if he's cold, even if he starts off like 0 for 4, don't let him keep shooting, okay? Run him off. Force them to take twos. We can match twos. We got Johnny Davis. We got the best player still in the tournament. Granted, we had the best player in the tournament to begin with. Screw you, Oscar Tshiebwe. But I feel so confident that Wisconsin is going to win this one. I'm extremely confident. Like, they can play the slow game with you. They can force you off the 3-point line, which is how they won their last one. I mean, Isaiah Brockington does scare me. Tyrese Hunter, they do scare me. But as long as I got Brad Davidson on my side, I'm rolling with Wisconsin. We got Brad Davidson. We got Johnny Davis. We got Tyler Wall, who can carry. Like, he can carry us through little spurts. Like, Tyler Wall can post up smaller defenders, which I think that's going to happen a lot against this Iowa State team. Can post up small defenders, get those points, help spark everybody else, help them get open shots. I'm feeling very, very confident in a double-digit Wisconsin win there tomorrow. Notre Dame, Texas. I just rolled my R's saying Notre Dame. I couldn't even do that. I tried trying it there. I just couldn't do it. But as mentioned a couple minutes ago, Texas Tech is my number 2 favorite team. All bias aside in this one, unlike the Wisconsin. Wisconsin was very heavily biased in my prediction. This just seems like a tough matchup to me if you're Notre Dame. Like, yes, Paul Atkinson might do all right. No one else is. Literally no one else is going to have a good game. Paul Atkinson might not even have a good game. All right, and if you got Bryson Williams clicking like that, you got Kevin O'Banner hitting some threes. This team is dangerous. This Texas Tech team is dangerous. And Notre Dame is in great trouble. They're in a lot of trouble. Oh, yeah, I said that no feasible way. I said that about Notre Dame beating Rutgers. Granted, they were favored in that one. I think I said, like, I just don't see Notre Dame beating Rutgers. And they beat them. Then they beat Alabama. But they're gonna get their butts kicked by Texas Tech. This defense is just too good. And just no one outside of Atkinson is gonna have a good game, if even him. Okay, we got 3 more games here, and then we'll call that good for tonight's episode. Got to get to bed. I'm an old man. Miami, Auburn. Miami barely beat USC. Now you're playing Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler. Okay, Miami struggled from 3, if I remember correctly, in their game against USC. You ain't getting anything in the paint with Walker Kessler there. Like, unless you can get in some foul trouble, you're in trouble. Like, this Auburn team, as long as they're fast, it's gonna be hard to get in there. It's gonna be hard to shoot over them. I mean, I get Isaiah Wong is fantastic. You know, Miami shot 7.1% from 3. There's no feasible way that Miami wins this game. Actually, the feasible way is Wendell Moore wants to be Steph Curry and not Wendell Moore. Like, that's the feasible way. That's a very, very logical possibility now that I say that out loud. But as long as the ball is in Jabari Smith's hand, I'm trusting Auburn. I'm trusting Auburn to beat Miami here. I think they should succeed in that one. It doesn't seem overly complicated, especially if a USC team almost did it. So I feel very confident in an Auburn win there. And they should be high after beating Jacksonville State. They're on an absolute high right now. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with them. Now, Texas and Purdue. We mentioned this a little bit earlier when talking about St. Peter's. If Texas can find a way to keep the big men off the glass, if they can limit Purdue's possessions, they have a chance. Because Purdue's defense is atrocious. Like, coming into the tournament, it was in the hundreds. That is, for a high major team, especially a Big Ten team. Like, even Michigan had a better defense than that. Okay, and you better believe Texas has a much better defense than that. Okay, Texas, I really want you to win here because two other people in my group picked Purdue to go to the Final Four. So I will 100% be cheering for Texas. Now, I don't think... Actually, the more I think about it, the more I do, like, as unbiased as I can be right now, I think Texas can win this one. I like their offense against Purdue's defense. The only thing is stopping Edey, stopping Williams. I think they can do well enough against Jaden Ivey. I think they got a good enough perimeter defense against Ivey. It's just they scare me in the paint right now. I think for my prediction, I'm going to go Purdue in a close one. In a close one. But I wouldn't be surprised if Texas won that game. I just wouldn't be. I'm gonna pick Purdue. I'm gonna predict that Purdue will win. But you best believe I will be cheering for Texas, and I do think they can win. I gotta stick with my gut reaction here. I gotta go Purdue. And finally, the last game of the day, TCU Arizona, which got a lot more intriguing after TCU's absolute annihilation of Seton Hall. I don't think Kirk Reese is to play. As far as I haven't heard he's back, so I think that means he's currently out, at least doubtful. Okay, and this might just be wishful thinking because again, everybody else in my group has Arizona going farther than I do. So hopefully, I will be cheering for TCU. Now, trying to remove that from my bias, from my picking as much as I can, this Arizona team is so good. They are so talented. They're so long. They're so fast. It's going to be hard to stop. I don't think TCU can. I don't think TCU can keep this team out of transition. That's a near impossible feat, keeping Arizona out of transition. Now, if they can, I like their chances. If TCU can keep Arizona, force them to play a half-court offense, I like TCU's chances. They improve significantly. I just don't know how possible that is. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Arizona. But just like the last game, I will be 1,000% cheering for TCU. Again, slight Big 12 love there. But that's not as big as my Mountain West Conference love. But yeah, that's all I got for today. A shorter, I think about 39, 40-minute podcast here. But after once there's a break in the games, there's a break in the games, I think, from tomorrow, from Sunday into Wednesday. So unfortunately, I have nothing to do on Monday. But it seems like the first games are on Wednesday after tomorrow. But there's only one game on Wednesday. So there's one game on Wednesday. That's Gonzaga and Arkansas. There's 1, 2, 3 on Thursday. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 on Friday, with then the Elite Eight being Saturday and Sunday. So there's the schedule that that's a little disappointing. I'm a little sad. Like, got my house to myself and I can't use it to sit around and watch basketball. But there will be a lot more videos coming out. There's going to be a lot of football coming out. There's going to be some basketball coming out. But if y'all enjoyed this podcast, I hope you have an amazing night, amazing rest of your day whenever you're watching this. This has been the SportsNest podcast with your host, Thomas Hielkema. Adios.